All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We have managed to find a workaround for our technical difficulties this morning, so we're about ready to start here. Welcome to today's episode of SCEP Live Online, a production of University of Hawaii Presents, based at the University of Hawaii at Manoa Outreach College. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Hawaii State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, the National Endowment for the Arts, the University of Hawaii, the East-West Center, and Kauanoa Senior Services. We're excited to have you join us this week and love to stay in touch. So send us your email at csinfo@hawaii.edu and you'll get notices about upcoming programs. Today, we're super excited about our guest today. And he has been waiting to do this because he was originally scheduled, but we had to reschedule it once. And thank goodness we didn't have to reschedule it again. So we're joined today by Christopher Yohmei Blasdel. He began studying Shakuhachi in Japanese music in 1972 with Goro Yamaguchi. In 1982, he received an MFA in ethnomusicology from Tokyo University of Fine Arts and received his professional name Yohmei from Yamaguchi in 1984. Performing in Japan and around the world, Blasdel is one of the foremost world performers and educators in shakuhachi and Japanese music. His playing maintains a balance between traditional shakuhachi music, modern compositions, and cross-genre work with musicians, dancers, poets, and visual artists. So without further ado, let's welcome to SCEP Live Online, Christopher Yohmei Blasdel.
Good morning, and welcome to the East-West Center Gallery in Honolulu. It's my pleasure today to do a concert entitled Musiking Meditation through the Shakuhachi, Peaceful Music for Stressful Times. And in many ways, this last 14 months have been very stressful. And I have found a modicum of peace in playing the shakuhachi and hopefully sharing it with others. So today I'm going to do a program of both traditional and contemporary pieces and one of my own pieces. The opening piece that you heard was called Kyorei. It is a very, very simple, plaintive, meditative piece that we in the shakuhachi tradition call honkyoku. These were originally pieces for meditation. They would be played by wandering monks of the 18th, 19th century in Japan who would go about begging for alms and playing these pieces as kind of a spiritual enlightenment, a kind of blowing meditation, as it were. Kyorei means literally the empty bell, so it has a lot of philosophical and historical references in that name. And as I say, it's a very simple piece, very unadorned, very plaintive. Now the next piece I'm going to play is also a shakuhachi honkyoku, and it's from the school I studied, the Kinko school, called Hifumi Hachigaeshi Shirabe. Now I mentioned of these mendicant monks that wandered throughout Japan during the early days. They would receive alms like mendicant priests do, and they would return the bowl, the eating bowl. They would be given a bowl of rice or food or whatever. They would return that with a piece of thanks, a piece of gratitude. So this piece is basically a gratitude piece saying, thank you for the subsistence. Thank you for all we've been given. Even though we're in the middle of still a pandemic, we have been given a lot. And it is good to remember once in a while to thank people and to be gracious and to feel gratitude for that. So I will perform this piece on a standard size shakuhachi. The previous shakuhachi, as you can see, was much longer, much lower. This is a standard 1.8 size. So this piece, Hifumi Hachigaeshi Shirabe, played on a 1.8 shakuhachi in the Kinko style. Please notice that it's much more ornamented and much more, in a way, interesting to listen to musically. Hifumi Hachigaeshi Shirabe, the Return the Bowl piece, the bowl being of gratitude. Now, we certainly have a lot of sacred pieces in shakuhachi music, but we also have sacred pieces in Western music as well. And I've noticed, just playing around various pieces, that Gregorian chant, or some of the plain song of the 14th, 15th centuries, fit very well on the shakuhachi. And so I would like to play the next piece, a piece called Domino, Fidelum, Motet. This was composed by Perotinus in the late 12th or early 13th century. And it was originally composed as a motet, which is several voices, polyphony. This will obviously be played solo. But I find it has a great kind of symmetry with the first piece I played, the Kyorei. Very simple, very full, long tones. And I'm going to use the music for this piece. And because of the air conditioning in here, the shakuhachi becomes very damp inside with my saliva. I need to clean it out periodically with this rag, this cloth. Domino, Fidelum, Motet. To the faithful Lord omnipotent, let the voices of the faithful cry out in joy. So for the next piece, I'd like to kind of just change gears and turn to a contemporary piece, Shakuhachi solo, that was composed in 1985. The renowned Japanese composer Minoru Miki, who came actually several times to the University of Hawaii and at the East-West Center, and his music has been played here quite a lot, was a very, very well-known composer, passed away in 2011, but he was trained in the Western compositional techniques, but he knew Japanese instruments very well. So any of his pieces resound very honestly with the traditional instruments. This piece I'd like to play now is called Tsukiyo no Kenshi, or the Moonlight Warrior. This was actually written as accompaniment to an NHK drama, Naruto Hichou Monogatari, which was premiered in 1985. Very beautiful, very short piece. The Moonlight Warrior by Minoru Miki. Okay, the next piece, I want to go to a folk song in Japan and go down to the Okinawan Islands. Now, Okinawa, as many of you know, is quite separate culturally, linguistically, and musically from the main islands of Japan, which we call Honshu. They were actually an independent kingdom, the Ryukyu kingdom, until the mid-19th century. But even today, they hold the music, the scale is very different. For instance, to give you a very brief introduction, the default scale of the main islands is what we call the Miyako Bushi Onkai. It sounds very Japanese, or what we think is Japanese. And indeed, the Honkyoku I played, Hifumi Hachigaeshi, is pitched in this Miyako Bushi Onkai, Miyako Bushi scale. Whereas the scale in Okinawa is decidedly different. So it's musically, it's just a difference between a major second, a minor second, and a major third, but it creates a whole different atmosphere. And I love Okinawan music because of this sort of uplifting scale. So the piece I want to play is called Nishinjo Bushi. This is a parting song, but perhaps not quite in the romantic way we would like to think. Nishinjo apparently is the name of the red light district in Naha, in Okinawa. And so the parting songs there were probably a courtesan and her client. Of course, there was, maybe a real feeling of affection there. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful song, and it's well known in Okinawa, and I'd like to play it. Very short, very sweet. Okay, for the final piece on the program, I would like to do one of my own compositions. Now, as you could probably tell by my love of plain chant and Gregorian chant, I kind of like the music of the 12th, 13th century. So I took a dance form from Italian music dating from the late 14th or early 15th century, probably originating in Tuscany, called saltarello. Saltarello is usually played in a fast triple meter and is named for its leaping step, saltare in Italian, to jump. So I figured out a pattern on the shakuhachi, and I call it the Shakuhachi saltarello. And as in the second piece I played, the piece of gratitude, I would like to express my gratitude to the East-West Center Arts Program and to the UH Manoa Outreach College for making this concert possible. It is a wonderful program, and it gets the artists out into the people, and the people able to listen to the arts without having to expose themselves in a crowd. And it's been very difficult for musicians in the last 14 months not being able to play in a live audience. So this is as close as we can get, and I'm very, very appreciative to their efforts of the East-West Center Arts Program staff and also of the Manoa Outreach College staff who worked very hard to put this together. And I apologize for the slight delay at the beginning. This is how technology is. It never works as you think it should work, but it also is a great gift that enables us to enjoy the music together. So, with that in mind, I would like to play this piece, and I think afterwards there will be I'll be available to answer any questions, and I think they have that set up already. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in, and again, apologize for the technical glitch at the beginning of the program. I think perhaps the moderator, Tim, has some questions for me, perhaps?
Okay, I want to jump in here and say a big mahalo to our performer, Christopher Yohmei Blasdel, for his patience, for um, being such a professional in dealing with the technical difficulties that our behind the scenes crew were rapidly trying to fix, both on the East-West Center side and on the outreach side. Unfortunately, as he mentioned, this is part of our world today, and we are adjusting to it as best we can. Christopher, I just want to mention that you have apparently fans from all over the place, from Hungary to the East Coast, to the West Coast, and everywhere in between, I'm sure. But let's get to a couple of the questions that have come by. One is, just tell us a little bit more about how you came into studying Japanese music and shakuhachi in particular.
A very good question. I went to Japan in 1972, and I realize that is really ancient history for most of the people around here. But I was on a junior year abroad study program, and I went to Waseda University, and I met a shakuhachi teacher who was just amazing. And he later became a living national treasure. His name was Yamaguchi Goro, and one of the most esteemed shakuhachi players of the 20th century. He agreed to take me on, and I was just overwhelmed by his ability, his artistry, and his warmth, and his willingness to teach a kind of a crazy American kid who didn't know any better, but really wanted to play the shakuhachi. And it was the confluence of the right time, the right people, and the right circumstance. So I was very grateful that I was able to have that encounter.
No, thank you. That's wonderful.
Continued on. I graduated the graduate degree with ethnomusicology and realized there was not a lot I could do with that. So I started playing shakuhachi and teaching and writing and things like that.
You mean there's not a ton of jobs for ethnomusicologists? What are you saying?
You can ask all the PhD students around you.
There you go. Someone asked, do you ever play the shakuhachi in an ensemble with other instruments and musicians?
Yes, as often as I can. We just finished this spring the UH Contemporary Music Ensemble, which we had several ensemble pieces, including a few with the shakuhachi. I've played with several ensembles in Japan. I lived there in 2016 and moved to Hawaii 5 years ago. And I enjoy very much playing with other people, probably more than I enjoy playing alone.
But you play with other types of instruments as well, not just other shakuhachis?
Yes, definitely. Play with piano, string quartet, Thai instruments, Indian instruments, Chinese instruments, of course, all the Western instruments. The shakuhachi is very versatile. Personally, I don't play jazz, but I have many colleagues who are very good at jazz and the shakuhachi, and even punk and very, very contemporary hard rock sort of music on the shakuhachi. It's a very versatile instrument. I prefer the acoustic instruments to perform with.
Okay, wonderful. You do a lot of pieces that are, I would say, different, that are more, I guess, the Welsh piece, the other styles of music. Is that something that you came up with on your own, or is the shakuhachi used in that format quite a bit?
Well, I use the shakuhachi that way, so I guess you can say yes, the shakuhachi is used that way. I have to apologize. I think on the Manoa Outreach College, there were some pieces on the program that I didn't play today, including the Welsh lullaby. So I sort of changed the program to fit, the situation. So my apologies for that. But I love music, and I love folk songs, and I love simple, profound music that takes a lot of concentration and a lot of control of the breath. And I think that's why I'm attracted to pieces like, the Gregorian chant and plain song and the Shakuhachi honkyoku, the old honkyoku. Of course, I love contemporary pieces that require a lot of dexterity and a lot of technical prowess, but I really like just the long single tones playing those.
Well, I want to thank you again, Chris, for being here today to be part of Skep Live Online. And I want to thank all of our sponsors once again, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Hawaii State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, the East-West Center, the University of Hawaii, Kalanua Senior Services, and all of you, our audiences who tune in. And we hope you will be back for future programs. So email us at csinfo, that's CSINFO at hawaii.edu for upcoming programs. And if you're interested in the classics, which kind of fits in with Shakuhachi a little bit, we have Professor Daniel Harris McCoy doing a program tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. on, I think tomorrow is on Sophocles. Anyway, tune in and we will see you there. So everyone, please stay safe and aloha.